go, guys.
Yeah.
Flamin' Dragon Friday.
Yeah.
It is.
You already know. I'm just saying Flamin' Dragon the whole time. Even when I go to the Booster Club, it's
We'll see.
You know what the poll's going to be.
We'll see.
Well, I hit the under last time.
You
so
did
put a little
surprise. You
respect on
surprised
my name.
everybody.
But the line shot up after the
And the
preview.
Gal Gadot under.
Yeah,
I've heard Gal Gadot get mentioned on the show for maybe this week. This might be a new record for you.
It could be. It could be. Well, I'm probably still going to score more than whatever was scored last night in the Colts-Broncos game, but that's for another day.
Yuck.
I do want to say, now we have like elections coming up and people are freaking out about it and stuff. And I always thought like the most fun part, I think, and maybe it's because we do the show and I enjoy arguing, debating, whatever you want to call it, would be the debates.
Yeah.
Like, so if you were like running for something and you were at the debate, like how would you what type of debater would you be? I know what type of debater I'd be.
What kind of debater?
I'm not gonna. This isn't that show.
With what kind of
Yeah,
debater?
no, I wouldn't send you up, but that's the lowest hanging fruit.
feels like-
I'm talking about like I'm trashing you the whole time.
Yeah, what do you say?
Like I'm trashing you, like for example.
We're running for president. Because let's aim for the...
Yeah, okay, I'm running for president. So I
We're
come over here and be like, all right, let's just say,
We're running for president.
let's just say I'm going against Jeff. Like, I'll be like, guys, guess what? Hold on. Got a letter here. Want to read it? It's from an illegal alien that was let across the border by Jeff, who gave him taxpayer stimulus check funded money for a late-term abortion. There you
Wow.
go.
Okay.
Try and beat that.
Do we have
Beat
the
that.
letter? Do we have the letter that I wrote? Yeah, let me get that one real quick. I have a letter here from a random person.
There will
that
be
says,
a letter that
You
I
hate
write."
America.
Yeah.
Marty Huggins hates America.
That's exactly right.
My letter would just be, especially if it's against Joe Biden. You remember you go to the doctor and you have to step far away and see letters?
Yeah, it's like
Something
easy.
Like, what is this, Joe? What is this?
No, I would constantly be throwing math problems. I'd be like,
Wow.
12 divided
I'd
by
lose.
3. Like, answer.
I'd
Which
lose.
you would get right because of the math and push-ups campaign.
That's exactly right. And I'm great with math until they start putting letters in it.
That's not math. That's something else. That's
That is.
English.
Yeah, that's
like English math.
I think that's what they call language arts. I think that's what language is. All the time trying to figure out, am I going to English?
arts.
Am I going to language arts? What is language arts? I think that's what it is.
thought-
I think language arts is when they start putting letters in math. There we go. Good
I was
job,
done.
guys.
We've solved so much. Are we done?
It's not even-
We're done.
Yeah, guys, this was fun. Hey,
Yeah, this
was
is
a good
fun.
weekend.
Good
Good
job,
matchups.
good week.
Yeah, for
Flamin'
sure.
Dragon Friday. Y'all enjoy your day.
Yeah.
We're breaking down the keys to victory for the biggest college football matchups this weekend. Domonique Foxworth blames the football fans for Tua's injury response. And Major League Baseball's playoffs begin today. It's the best time of year on a Flamin' Dragon Friday. I'm Jake Crane, and welcome to Crane & Company. Yesterday, ESPN's Domonique Foxworth was very upset with a certain segment of the NFL because of the way Tua Tagovailoa's injury was handled. He basically called them callous and indifferent to the devastating effects the NFL has on one's body. Was it the doctors who handled Tua after he was obviously wobbly and disoriented 2 weeks ago? Nope. Then he had to be mad at the NFL or the Dolphins support staff who allowed this to happen. Not so much, really. Foxworth took this time to excoriate the one segment of the NFL that has no control, the fans. He said, where are the fans when the players in the NFL are in CBA meetings hashing this out? Does somebody want to tell Domonique that fans aren't allowed in there? Foxworth said that fans need to stop pretending to give a damn about the players because they don't care about having to play on Thursday after Sunday or being able to get a second opinion from a doctor. Again, Domonique, something no fan has any control over by any stretch of the imagination. And it seems like every time this guy is on TV, he's complaining or talking at a certain group in a resentful manner. But attempting to challenge the fans' character about something they have no control over is laughable at best. The fans are the reason the players are getting paid so damn much. Like you did, Domonique, you're rich. The fans buy the jerseys, the hot dogs, the tickets, the TV packages, and watch your network so you can make your salary talking about it. Now, people who aren't as successful as you or didn't play in the NFL are out here struggling every day to put gas in their car and food on their table. And you expect them to line up and cry to you because of meetings and decisions between millionaires they have nothing to do with? The smugness and arrogance to think you know how everybody else feels is typical from the elite in today's society, just making moves from your ivory tower. And ESPN continues to show how out of touch they are with the people that watch them. And eventually, nostalgia for the days of the real Sports Center and actual sports won't be there. And maybe next time, before you go after the people who are doing the most when it comes to preserving the games that you and your network cover, you'll channel that to someone who can actually control it. Our people will continue to change your channel. I'm going to bring it down
right there, man. Come on.
this. And you know what? I want to bring this clip up. I want to bring this clip up for context. This was actually said by somebody that works at ESPN about a group that has no control over anything. Because you're right, John the plumber down the street has a lot to say in that CBA meeting you guys are having. Let's go ahead and roll the clip.
I think Mike McDaniel in that press conference, he should have taken responsibility. Don't pretend like you out here protecting all the players. Take responsibility for the role that you played in that. And Swagoo's taking responsibility for not raising more noise before that. He's taking responsibility. All of us, and the fans in particular, need to take responsibility because it's not just these ugly hits that are a problem. Like every weekend that there's football played, there are players out there who shake hands afterwards and feel fine, but they have gotten closer to having some sort of long-term issue or having some sort of CTE. So we all understand that. We accept that. And what frustrates me is all these people, fans in particular, pretending like they give a damn about Tua or they give a damn about football players all of a sudden. When we're in these collective bargaining meetings and we're arguing to not have Thursday games after Sunday games, to have a bye, to not have a 17-game season, arguing to increase the pay of players because the risk of this game is so damn high, there are not fans up there fighting and throwing themselves all in a tizzy on Twitter because of that. They're yelling at us then like, no, get back and play football. So just keep that same damn energy. You give a damn about Tua now, give a damn about all the rest of the players in the offseason when we're trying to fight to have a second opinion. We have to give up percentage points of our salary cap in order to force the teams to give our players a second opinion and doctors. And don't nobody give a damn when we're doing that.
You know, one of the worst type of people is somebody that has everything. And I'm not saying, Domonique Foxworth, I'm sure worked his ass off to be able to get where he was. You have to at that level. You can't just get there on talent alone. But the worst type of person is somebody that blames the group that doesn't have really anything while they have everything and expect you expect people to go. What do you want the fans to do, man? You want them to show up to the meetings with pitchforks and torches? On Twitter, where is this group of fans that don't care about people's injury? Where is that? Where is that group? To me, this is like when you just call faux racism and you can't actually point it out, but you say it's still there. Show me where it is, and we'll fight the stuff together. But what do you want the fans to do, Dominique? You guys are rich. Nobody is making you play. And safety should be the first thing. It should be the overarching thing. And I agree the way the Tua thing wasn't handled correctly. But what fan had any control? Did the fans call in there and go, hey, Mike McDaniel, make sure you put Tua in for the second half? Or did the fans show up to the last meeting and say, you know what? No, don't give them a second opinion. You have no control over that. This is the stupidity of when you are the type person that cannot get their point across or does not feel vindicated unless they complain. The rich will always get richer. It's just how it is. But as a fan, that I would instantly want to turn the channel. Now, I had some of you had to send this to me.
I don't know how people I don't know how
people watch it. I don't know how you watch it.
ESPN, because this is habitual at this point. Every single day, this kind of stuff happens. And he's not the only one, even though I'm starting to think that he is the worst among the group. Imagine being so resentful that you want to come out and criticize the very people who made you a multi-millionaire.
It's absolutely
The fans
wild
don't give a damn about you. Why should they when you don't give a damn about the fans? And you know who was the very first person to respond underneath this guy's tweet when he put this out? Was Desmond Howard.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what was worse.
I was ashamed about that, too.
I don't know what was worse. Desmond Howard backing this up or Desmond Howard's playoff predictions that got wiped out after week 2. But we all know that's just a song and dance they're going to do up there anyway.
Yeah, and even on that front, it's like, look, I get it. He's on TV. He's trying to maybe be different or trying to be funny. And he was a Heisman Trophy winner, so I understand that he wants to come out and represent his school and always be a homer.
Yeah, so was
OJ. That was a whole different situation. But I understand what you're saying on that. To me, this is worse, though. To me, this is worse because you're coming out and you're actually hating on the people who helped make you a multimillionaire. You're living their dreams.
Yeah.
You lived their dreams. Every single one of them. Every single one of them wanted to play professional football. Every young man in this country.
Well, I just think if I'm sitting there at the kitchen table and you're struggling to make ends meet and the prices of everything keeps going up and inflation's horrible right now and it's an absolute mess, regardless of how you think that happened, that's the situation. And I'm sitting there at my kitchen table worrying about how I'm going to pay the mortgage or how I'm going to pay the electric bill, and I'm hearing Domonique Foxworth get on here and cry to me about the meetings between millionaires that have absolutely nothing to do with me. If you want to get mad at somebody, get mad at the owners. If you want to get mad at somebody, get mad at the NFL. If you want to get mad at somebody, get mad at the sports staff and these individual organizations. But the fans that's like going and screaming at the hot dog salesman about how bad the weather is. They about have the same amount of control over the things that happen. You talk about Twitter, it's just a joke.
What a lazy take.
Lazy take.
It's a lazy take. That's all it is. First of all, you're assuming millions of people's feelings and what they. I guarantee you, a lot of these fans care about these guys. Past football, a lot of these fans were watching these kids play in college. Go to college, go to NFL. It matters more than just what you think from guys who are making millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. Football's a violent sport, but you get paid enough to where if you love the game and you get paid enough, you can live in this game and you can have longevity in this game. But if you have a problem with the fans, and let some fans in there. Give some fans some of that money and see how much they care and how much they have your back. Fans right now, inflation's at an all-time high, man. And after that game they watched yesterday, hell, I'm sure you lost half the NFL with the absolute terrible performance I had to watch against the Broncos and the Colts. But don't assume how millions of people feel in this country, buddy, because I promise you're wrong.
No, yeah, I get on here and give my opinion every day. It's about how I feel. I'm not going to assume how everybody else feels. I'll tell you what I think. You know, what I think about certain situations, but I would never assume how a whole group of people feels. But when you never get pushed back against, it's just like a great example. Bomani Jones has the worst ratings in the history of ESPN. The worst.
They're in a bubble, though.
And they're letting people go left and right. But again, it's about what you look like, not what you provide, which is exactly the opposite of what Martin.
You know what? The fans was the most egregious part, but I'm not going to let him get away with blaming Mike McDaniel either. What's the head coach supposed to do when he's on the sideline? He's coaching the football team.
Yeah.
That's why you have a medical staff. What does he have to? This isn't high school. He has to be over there keeping up with every single player and what's going on with their injury status. Hey, you tell me, can the guy go or not? That's why we pay a medical staff. But of course, look, man, this is what I'm saying with resentful people. Anyone else to blame? If every football game was decided via two-hand touch in a virtual reality Madden simulator where no one ever got hurt and there's no contact, that resentful guy right there would find something to cry about.
This feels deeper.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you hear him? Did you hear when he was like, you hear the breaths in between, how emotional it was? And then he said,
you could put it on mute.
And then he said,
you could mute that and watch him speak and know that is a resentful individual.
Who stood up in that meeting and embarrassed you, dog? Like, who stood up in that meeting? I'm sure you were in there. Obviously, you're talking like you were in there. You better be in there talking like that if you're acting like what's going on. Who caught you slipping or caught you wrong or pissed you off?
I don't think this was about the fans at the end of the day.
Well, then don't make it about the fans.
All right, let's go to Ethan Williams, First of all, Butcher Club. What is up? Let's get popping on this Friday. The NFL only fired that doctor because of the fan uproar, but somehow the fans do not care.
I think they fired him because he blew it on Tua. Just watch the way Tua's moving around. Like we said, again, I don't think you have to be a doctor to realize Tua Tagovailoa wasn't exactly right 2 weeks ago when he went down and got hit. And, you know, a lot of it, fans control obviously going to the games, but fans love the sport so much, they're not going to stop going to the games outside of a COVID or something absolutely crazy happening that changes them. But where they don't have any control is what gets decided in CBA, what gets decided between the players and the NFL. That is totally out of the fans' control, and pretending like you know how every fan feels or how every person feels when you're one person, you've lost the argument already there, regardless if it's a good thing or a bad thing that you're saying about them. But it is damn sure not the fans' fault.
And imagine if they did stop going to the games. You don't get paid.
You don't get paid.
That's the biggest misconception with all this. There's no reality when it comes to, well, if we make the game completely safer and no one hits anymore and there are no more fans, you don't make any more money.
Yeah.
It takes away everything you played the game for in the first place, which was to go out there and be disciplined and have the glory and the honor of playing the game. I mean, your dad played it at the highest level. My father-in-law played it. I mean, he can't even get out of bed. I don't hear him complaining.
No, I agree. Cub Shocky 9, hashtag Ask Crane & Co. What got us to the stage of player empowerment that turned players into a bunch of overpaid whiny babies?
Well, look, and again, I want to make sure, I think there's a balance between obviously players having the say, it's their bodies and they are choosing to do that. But again, you give somebody an inch and I feel like they're taking a mile, that they're running with it. But look, If you want to have disputes between the players and the NFL, that's one thing. If something doesn't get done, you blame it on them. When a bill doesn't get passed or something that happens like that, you don't blame the voters. You blame the people that actually vote on the bills. Did they tell you the truth or not when you voted for them? You don't blame the fans for stuff that gets settled monetarily in between players in the organization. They have no control over it. Like I said, it's like screaming at the hot dog salesman about why the weather hasn't been good. You're wasting your time, and that person has no control over it.
All right, let's go to Quasi Terrible. Good to see you in here. I think back-to-back days. He says, I feel bad for the lonely intern that is forced to watch ESPN to get clips of their dumb takes.
It's going to be awful.
Oh, God.
I feel like that's what they did at Guantanamo Bay. Like,
yeah.
That's one of the things they do. They're like, should we waterboard them? You know what? Let's show them a compilation of Bomani Jones, Domonique Foxworth, and wait for it, Emmanuel Acho. Which, by the way, Foxworth makes Emmanuel Acho look like Aristotle.
Oh, they just bring Stephen A. Smith in there for an hour to get yelled at.
Yeah, well, at least he's yelling.
Yeah, right. I think Stephen A. gets more right than wrong.
Yeah,
some of these other
Stephen
guys, I can't listen to a single clip.
Bloviating.
All right, let's go to, we got a $1.99 donation from Nate State.
Nate State.
What's up, Nate? We're flipping and we're going back to a little bit of college football here.
Yep.
He says, would Lane Kiffin, old Lane, be a good fit at Nebraska?
I think Lane would be a good fit anywhere because he's a good football coach, but I don't think Lane would take that job. I don't think that's the one he'd go for. We know how good Lane is on social media. He's kind of a part of that new wave of coaches on social media that you're kind of seeing that'll put themselves out there. Shane Beamer, there's some others as well. But Lane isn't a guy that's going to go out there and just recruit balls to the wall like some of these other head coaches. Not that you can't get good players at Nebraska, but it helps. Proximity matters a lot. Location matters a lot. When we brought Tom Luganbill on here over a month ago, we talked about the average distance from the campus at Nebraska, their signing class was like 530 miles. And then you look at a place like Houston, which is 32 miles, or Oxford, or places like that. I don't think that's the job that Lane would go take. And plus, I think Lane likes being in the SEC. I think Lane wants to be in the SEC. Yeah.
All right, let's go to Grant Deal, hashtag Ask Crane and Company. Can UNC win the Coastal this year?
Yeah, they can, but defensively, you got to figure it out. I mean, eventually you have to play well. You bring in Gene Chizik, and I know he's not responsible for all the personnel that's there, and Mac is on the back half of his career with his age. But Drake May is a guy that has a ton of potential offensively. You can score points. The question is, as we keep moving along through the season, when does the defense figure it out? I mean, you gave up 45 points to Notre Dame. Notre Dame couldn't score 45 points in 12 quarters to start the year if you played one coverage and gave them just sat in an overfront. So if the defense can just play okay, they don't have to play great. Drake May is a star. All right, Drake May's a future star. The defense doesn't have to play great. They just have to play better. You have to have some semblance of balance or some semblance of complementary football.
What if I told you before the season that Duke and North Carolina would be tied in the Coastal for the lead right now?
I would have looked at you in the eyes and been like, yeah, right. I'm guessing Kansas is the best team in the Big 12.
Yeah, exactly. Syracuse and Florida State tied for second in the Atlantic.
Sounds like basketball season.
I know.
That's what it sounds like. But, let's go ahead and get to keys to victory.
Let's go keys to victory. Let's go TCU at Kansas to start, since you brought up the Big 12. Kansas has sold out their third straight game, first time since 2008.
Let's go.
Yeah, for TCU, you've got to send a message early. There's a lot of pressure on Kansas, okay? There is. And you could say, oh, well, pressure doesn't affect these guys. I get that. Kansas has not been this relevant in a long time in college football. Talking about selling out the stadium, going to make an announcement. I think they're going to give, like I said, the governor's going to make Coach Leipold stop paying taxes in the state of Kansas, which is a brilliant idea. You need to go out there and let them feel that pressure early. You need to get ahead of them early. You want to make Kansas feel like they're playing catch up and like, oh no, are we going to blow this huge opportunity with game day coming and stuff like this? You need to put game pressure on them early. Not saying Jalen Daniels and them can't handle it. They've shown you they can win in multiple ways. But if you put pressure on them early, you get them nervous, you get the fans nervous with everything that's going on, and then you try and make them play outside of themselves. Because I think Kansas has done a really good job playing to their identity, but also understanding the flow of the game. So getting Kansas to do things outside of themselves. Max Dugan's an experienced guy. Sonny Dykes knows what he's getting into. But I think you got to put some game pressure on them early and let them know early you're gonna be having to play catch up this whole game. You're not dominating us in this moment.
I watched the quarterbacks. Duggan versus Daniels, baby. You go look at their stats. They're basically the same guy. All right, Duggan, 70 for 94, 997 yards, 11 touchdowns. Daniels, 73 at 107, 985 yards, 11 touchdowns. I'm watching the quarterbacks and I'm watching the line of scrimmage because both these defenses are pretty damn good. Yeah. Especially the secondary is good. They got some long. Kansas got some long guys at corner, but this is going to be a quarterback-led game, and those are my favorite games to watch.
TCU's quarterback is 70 for 94.
Yeah, so
he's 70.
He's from Council Bluffs, Iowa. When I coached at Iowa West,
wow,
he was in high school there.
Wow, that's completing passes,
and he can run too.
He can. Now, I will say Oklahoma's defense made him look like Usain Bolt. But for Kansas, the biggest thing to me when you're playing a team like TCU with the way they operate and how they try and attack you on the perimeter in the passing game, they try and speed you up a little bit with Sonny Dykes, it's open field tackling. It's always huge when you're playing teams that run the air raid, when you're playing teams that operate like Sonny Dykes does. If you can tackle well in the open field, not saying you aren't going to miss some tackles, you're going to, but where TCU really hurts people is after the catch. You're not seeing they had a couple blown coverages from Oklahoma last week where some guy from TCU was running wide open, but a lot of TCU's big plays are off a broken tackle within 10 to 15 yards, and then they go hit the home run. If you get them down early and you make TCU go 8 to 10 plays, 10 to 12 plays, and you put a little pressure on Max Duggan to beat you with his arm consistently in the intermediate passing game, the digs, deep overs, stuff like that, shallow cross, hitting the cross. When you make him do that, that's when I think you see TCU struggle a little bit, and that's where I think you see the turnovers. Because TCU always looks really, really good against one team, and I know it's Sonny Dykes' first year, new phone, who dis, I get it. They always look really good against a big-time team or a big-time brand name once or twice a year, but they also look bad a couple games when they shouldn't. I'm wondering if that's similar TCU. I know Gary Patterson's gone, but will we see that TCU show up in Lawrence?
Yeah, you got something else?
Yeah, I was saying, if you're Kansas, you just want to be close going into the fourth. You're at home. It's going to be a sold-out crowd. Give yourself a chance late in the fourth.
They have
quarter.
confidence now, too.
Right.
One of the most intriguing matchups in the SEC we've been talking about, Tennessee at LSU. I went on Rufino's show last night. We were talking about it.
You went on Rufino's last night?
Great time.
I made my Are You Serious debut.
Nice.
Yes.
It's always fun.
It was a blast, man. But Tennessee at Florida State, or Tennessee at LSU, excuse me.
You know, for Tennessee, for me, it's you got to get the first down. To be able to operate the way Heupel wants to operate and go fast and not get yourself caught up in 3 and outs and giving LSU multiple chances and your defense being out there for a really long time and a lot of plays. That's what, if I'm Josh Heupel, that's the part that is worrying me. Just getting to that first down so then we can get in, all right, defense we know is at least going to have a series. We can start going fast and not feeling bad about it. Because if you start going fast and you get that 3 and out, that's really like being out a play and a half. Defense got to come right back on the field after you punt it. So for Tennessee, it's getting to that first down. They're going to run what they run. You're not going to see a ton of new stuff from Tennessee. You may see a wrinkle here, a wrinkle there like an old person or a trick play or something like that. But Tennessee, they're going to spit the bubble. You're going to get the RPO, the slant. You're going to get inside zone. Hendon Hooker's going to keep it and take off. But they've got to get that first down so they can get the offense going. But more importantly, so that defense can get a little bit of a rest, especially for that second half. Because if that game's close, I don't care. I know it's a afternoon kick, early morning kick, however you want to call it, but that place is going to be wild. Those students aren't going to go home. They're going to go straight from the bar to the game. So the later that game gets and the more you give LSU a chance with how they've struggled offensively, it's going to come down to your defense getting a couple stops. And you already lost Burrell for the rest of the season.
So here's what I told Rufino last night. You guys tell me if I'm crazy. Obviously, the common thinking is if Tennessee and LSU get into a shootout, that bodes well for Tennessee, right?
For sure.
Now, look, LSU, I'm not saying you want a game plan for a shootout. You don't want to, you don't want a high-scoring affair with Hendon Hooker and the Tennessee Volunteers. But this is what I was thinking last night. If it does turn into a high-scoring affair, here's why I wouldn't panic if I'm an LSU fan. Because that means you've been scoring on them too, right? You've been scoring on them too.
Yeah.
And a shootout always comes down to that one defense getting a stop late in the game, right? That's what it turns into. I would trust LSU's defense to get that stop late in a game. So I wouldn't panic even if it turns into a high-scoring affair, because they're going to try, both teams I think are going to try and bend but don't break a lot. And like you were saying, not let the quarterback through the front door of the pocket,
Well, this is the thing. LSU, you can't start slow in this game.
Yeah.
All right, if you go down 17-0 in this game, you will get mopped off the field. You will. You have to start fast. You have to start early to know that you can run with Tennessee. And I'm watching Jaden Daniels in this game. You go back to that Auburn game, I think he had 80 yards of passing. You're going to have to go through progressions against Tennessee. You'll be able to run the ball somewhat, but you're going to have to elevate your game. You got to stay away from the turnover bug. The kid hadn't thrown a pick all season, which is amazing. That's what you want from a quarterback. But you're going to have to run with Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker is a Heisman finalist. This guy can play football. He's extremely good. He is just nothing but elevated his game when he got in this offense. But if you're LSU, your defense will play well. You got to get timely stops and timely turnovers, but your quarterback has to show up and ball out in this game for you have to have a chance to win this game.
Yeah, for LSU, my key is you've got to let it fly if you're Jaden Daniels. Brian Kelly came out and said, look, we have to take more chances down the field. But it's not just getting to that second progression or saying, you know what, it's going to be a 50-50 ball, but I'm going to give my guy a chance. When you have guys like Kayshon Boutte and Malik Neighbors and some of the aliens Besh running around that LSU has, you can turn that 50-50 ball into a 70-30 ball. But it's not just about throwing the deep ball on the design play. It's about taking chances, too, when you're outside of the pocket and the scramble drill and the play breaks down. I mean, a great example, you look the other night, SMU, I know they didn't score a ton of points and the running back dropped the ball, but Tanner Mordecai did a really good job of looking down the field when he was scrambling outside and having a chance to make big plays. One of the reasons Jaden Daniels hadn't thrown an interception is because he's not taking chances down the field. That's great you haven't thrown an interception, but you're not getting a return on that investment. It's almost even across the board because you're not threatening defenses down the field. But in that same vein, it's a tough spot for Jaden Daniels, and if you're Brian Kelly and you're coaching those quarterbacks in that offense, you want him to be aggressive, but you also want him to be smart. So you're on one hand telling him, we need you to take more chances down the field.
Make plays.
We need you to put the ball sometimes a little bit in harm's way, but don't turn the ball over.
Exactly.
You know, so it's like it's kind of that happy medium, but you do got to go out there because the minute that Jaden keeps his eyes down the field a couple times when the play breaks down, you will see him be able to take off and get more yardage because defenders keep that extra second before they come up to tackle Jaden Daniels. Or they may stay with that receiver in the scramble drill a little bit longer before Jaden Daniels breaks the line of scrimmage. And then all of a sudden now he's got even bigger running lanes, but making him escape up through the pocket, not rushing past him as well is big for Tennessee.
Real quick, when does Boutte show up?
I don't know.
I mean, at some point.
He didn't have 100 yards in the season.
At some point, he's got to show up.
Where is he?
This the game? Is this game? If I'm Jaden Daniels, I'm feeding this.
Well, I think what you're seeing a lot of is you are seeing Kayshon Boutte. Teams are, and now he didn't play against New Mexico, but teams are trying to take him out of the game. They're trying to bracket him. They're building the coverages around him. I think that's why you saw against Mississippi State, Malik Neighbors was wide open on every third medium because they were scared to death that Boutte was not only going to hit him on the short, but Boutte's the type of cat that can catch a slant and go for 70. He's the type of cat that can catch it out, beat you to the sideline or break a tackle and go for 60 and a score. So once they kind of even out more, but still, if you're Boutte, you got to go get it. This is your bag season, man. This is a money year. We're talking about winning Biletnikoff, the Biletnikoff Award and stuff like that, but you got to go get it.
All right, 4-1 Utah at 5-0 UCLA.
For Utah, to me, it's you can't do what Washington did. You can't abandon the run early. Like, I feel like Washington panicked. Because UCLA and Chip Kelly, you fall into this trap, right? You fall in this trap against these teams that may have a high-profile offensive guy as the head coach, or they may have a quarterback like DTR. They may go hurry up or do things like this. You're like, oh, no, we need to match what they're doing. Now, I know Kalen DeBoer at Washington wants to throw it around, but if you look, UCLA was down 2 defensive tackles. In that first drive, Washington was creasing them like a brand new pair of pants, man, right up the middle. They got down. DTR made a couple plays. Charbonnet made a couple runs, and Washington went Jody Foster and hit the panic button and said, all right, we got to get away from everything. Utah, they are built way differently than Washington in the way they operate and the way that Kyle Whittingham and them want to play, especially offensively with Cam Rising's ability to run too. But if you go down and you get down 7-0 to UCLA, or you get down 10-0, or you're down 14-7, you cannot panic and try and turn Cam Rising into Timmy Chang from Hawaii a couple years ago, or Colt Brennan and go throw it 100 times. That's not who Utah is. Brant Keithy being out is huge. I agree with Tom Luganbill. I was talking about it yesterday, but I think that just reinforces even more why that run game, you cannot, number one, abandon it from Utah, and number two, it has to be effective. So for Utah, don't abandon the run early.
And that's their strength. I don't think they will.
No.
I mean, to me in this game, if anything, Utah's defense mix up the looks. All right, mix up the looks, bring pressure where he doesn't think pressure is coming. I've seen DTR. He's having a great year this year. One of the reasons he's staying healthy. That's kind of been a big knock on his career. He's never really been healthy, but he'll make mistakes. All right, if you disguise coverages, he'll make mistakes. I mean, Charbonnet's a great back. I mean, I would like to see him put it. Now Utah's average about 100. Now Utah's average about 130. But I go back to the quarterbacks in this game. It's going to be a great quarterback battle. Cam Rising's a real one. They're one mistake away at Florida from being undefeated. I still think Utah's going to win this game, but I'd be really interested to see the over/under and how high of a tempo this will be. And I think that whichever team makes less mistakes is going to win this game.
And two, we always talk about DTR, and I know they haven't blown the water out of the rushing stats this year, but to me, Charbonnet sets the tone for the game because UCLA with DTR, again, not a big guy. He wants to sprinkle it out, get him to the guys that can run. I mean, Jake Bobo, the transfer from Duke, was a huge pickup for them in the offseason. He's kind of a Y, kind of your flex guy. He's not going to go in line and block or anything like that. He's good blocking on the perimeter, but you can play him inside and outside. He can threaten you. Reminds me of Higbee a little bit. He's kind of more, I think, receiver-ish than Higbee is, but Higbee did put on weight when he went to the NFL. But Charbonnet gives them that physical edge a little bit. He makes them seem, I don't want to use soft, but not as, I guess, kind of glassy and antique on the outside where it's like, oh, well, we're just going to try and get you out in space because we don't want to run it right at you. Charbonnet gives him a little bit of that thunder, that lightning, and when he's cooking and that run game is hot and he's falling forward and he's got linebackers, thinking, here we go. They're going to keep handing this 240-pound guy who reminds me, he's a James Conner clone to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like he's an absolute James Conner clone to me. But to me, he's who sets the tone from a physicality standpoint, so then Chip can do all those things formationally and he can get DTR out there juking guys and doing ballerina steps and stuff like that.
Charbonnet runs super heavy.
Charbonnet is such a good back. I still don't understand.
Hey, man, Blake Corum? Woo!
Yeah, and I would criticize Michigan more, but they keep having a stable of backs. I don't understand what happened at Michigan and why he transferred out, but I'm so happy to see he landed at a spot where he can have success.
Seems like it's worked out for both.
Both of them, it's working out. And you can't, hey, that's all you can ask for, right? All right, BYU and Notre Dame. The Catholics and the Mormons are squaring off in all places with Las Vegas.
I just want everybody to think about it. Like, we talk about accomplishments as society, right? The light bulb, the Model T, the Constitution. Great things to move our society for fire.
Yeah.
Imagine just if you went up to somebody that was just like a religious scholar or somebody that just didn't know college football existed. Not saying that all religious scholars don't like college football. Okay.
Revco.
Our
boy Revco.
Imagine going up to somebody and saying, hey, you want to know something crazy? Like what? It'd be like, the Catholics and the Mormons are going to hang out in Vegas. Like, just think about that. And the human story, going back all the way to the beginning time, where we're at now. I mean, we have the Mormons and the Catholics squaring off to play football in Las Vegas. I mean, these guys at BYU can't even drink caffeine. And you're out there in Vegas? I respect it. My thing for Notre Dame is you got to ride the pine. You got to ride Drew Pine.
Ride the Pine.
Ride the Pine.
Okay.
Yep, there we go. P-Y-N-E. Since Drew Pine came in, it's the quarterback for Notre Dame, okay? I'm not saying everybody go sit on the bench.
You go get on the bench.
Sit on the bench
and do nothing.
Shut up. Lou Holtz is talking. He's like, guys,
God.
We're riding the Pine.
Yeah.
We're riding the Pine at Indiana Pine. All right, so when you look at Notre Dame, and I get North Carolina's defense is just an absolute sieve. I mean, just leaking out everywhere. He has brought a better passing element than Tyler Buchner had. Okay, is it just immaculate? No. But I mean, the dude, he threw one interception coming in to replace Tyler Buchner against Marshall. I know they lost that game, but the last two games, I mean, he's thrown for 250 and 3 touchdowns, 150 and a couple touchdowns, and hadn't thrown an interception since. He's given them some semblance of a passing game to help out the running game a little bit, to be a little bit balanced, to be able to extend drives, to keep that defense on the field. But make no mistake, I feel like this is going to be a low-scoring physical game. And BYU's played a lot of physical games already. I look at Drew Pine, I look at Jaron Hall, and I know Notre Dame is a betting favorite right now. I know that Utah State, who hasn't been very good all year, ran the ball pretty decently against BYU last week. But two things there. One, that's a rivalry game. Mm-hmm. They turned on that film and saw how bad Utah State was, and you played Notre Dame the next week. I think there was a little bit of a trap game, even though that was a rivalry game in there. I'm having a very hard time not wanting to take BYU money line right now.
Really?
Everybody's really feeling good about Notre Dame, like, oh, it's some resurgence. Drew Pine's good, but it's not like you've been playing the greatest competition either since you came in there, or the greatest defenses since you've come in there. Now, for BYU, Notre Dame is going to stop the run. They're going to make Jaron Hall beat you with his arm. So you're looking at guys like Romney, Pico Nakua. Even Christopher Brooks out of the backfield. How effective can Christopher Brooks be catching the ball out of the backfield? How effective can that offensive line be being able to open up holes on 3rd and short when Notre Dame knows you're running it and you know you're running it? So, man, I really, really like BYU in this game the more that I look at it, because I think people are starting to fall for the allure of Notre Dame and a new quarterback coming in that can trick you sometimes. So for BYU, to me, it's your big time is simple. Your big time players have to make big time plays. And that's Romney, that's Nakua. When they get their chances in the red zone to score touchdowns, you have to score touchdowns, and your big players have to make those plays.
There's your keys to victory.
I mean, I agree. I mean, Jaron Hall is going to be a big piece in this game. You know, I come on this show, and I'm hard on Notre Dame most of the time I talk to him just because join a conference. I'm sick of seeing it. But I like Notre Dame in this game. I think it's going to be a big win for Coach Freeman. I think he needs one under his belt. I think the change at quarterback has helped, and I'll be watching these defenses. I know the Utah State game might have been looked over a little bit, but that secondary for BYU did not look good at all. Once that quarterback broke the pocket, a lot of eyes peeking in the backfield. So I like Notre Dame in this game. I don't know what the spread is. They're -3.5. I think they covered that spread. So give me Coach Freeman in the fire.
Let me say this too. Utah State played a different quarterback other than Logan Bonner against BYU, and he was more of a running quarterback. I think that's why you saw that secondary from BYU, and he was hurting them on the outside. Drew Pine's really not that guy. He's more of a pro-style passer. Not that he can't run. He's somewhat athletic, but he's not what Buckner was running, and he was not what that guy from Utah State was last week. I think that was the mix of a trap game and a little bit of unknown. Blaine, real quick, one question from the Booster Club.
Okay, I wanted to get, this was early in the show.
That's one.
Over under 3.5.
Yes.
Okay.
3.5 again.
Yeah, okay. We're going to keep it there. But I saw this early in the show. Alex Raffini, I believe his name was, he says the first show he could catch since the hurricane in Florida. He just wanted to say, love the show, guys. So, Alex, glad you're doing good,
Alex,
man.
appreciate it. Glad you're safe,
Hope you're
man.
safe,
Hope
man.
everybody down there is able to recover. You guys are going to come back stronger than ever.
Yep.
For sure. All right, Matthew Roberts. Jaron Hall has been playing outstanding and does not make mistakes. The wide receivers are deep and talented. Are we thinking a BYU blowout here?
No, I don't think it's a blowout. I think it's going to be a
Coin flip,
low-scoring fist-fight game. This game's going to come down to what a lot of games come down to. Are you scoring touchdowns in the red zone, or are you scoring field goals? You're going to win this game 17-14. You're going to win this game 31-23. We'll see how it goes in the red zone.
All right, you want another one? Good. Alex Knight, perfect time. $9.99 donation.
Alex.
We're rich, boys. We're rich. One of my recent regrets is not watching Crane & Co. sooner. It's okay. We forgive you.
We forgive you.
Making up for lost time by not missing an episode since I started. Keep up the clever and spot-on commentary. Hashtag aliens, etc. Hashtag go Braves. Hashtag go Dogs.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You love to see it. Let's go to Colleen Houston. She says, also, guys, fun fact, Notre Dame is undefeated in all our Shamrock series.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing you're wearing it out in Vegas. Look, like I said, it's everybody's going to pull out all the stops. That's Notre Dame's version of the icy whites. You know, we'll see. But look, BYU's coming out in some pretty fire uniforms too. Did you see the reveal?
Yeah,
where
the
they
blues,
were
the all blues.
Yeah, it's
were they in the
gonna be a
UFC
emotional
ring? Was that?
Yeah, with like some magician or some dude that can like do cool stuff with playing cards. But before we get Parker Thune on here, because we're going to break down. Everybody's like, why don't you talk about the Oklahoma-Texas game? Why don't you do keys to victory to that? Because our guest today represents Oklahoma, and he reps his squad from 247 Sports too. And we're going to break it down. But first, it's baseball time.
How did they say it again?
Said they're going to rep their squad, Coach.
All right. Let's do some MLB predictions. We talked yesterday about who we thought was going to win and who was going to advance in the games. But we have specific matchups today. Tampa Bay at Cleveland. That game's at 11 a.m.
I'm just trying not to get emotional.
It's the Battle of the Shanes. Battle of the Shanes.
Calm down.
It's a great time of year.
You're safe here.
Wow. He's choked up. Look at this. Baseball playoffs.
27 straight days of football.
Think of Gal Gadot.
Major League Baseball playoffs.
Best
Hell,
time.
we even got preseason.
Halloween.
You got me now.
We even got
Halloween.
preseason hockey, boys. It's the greatest time of year.
Let's
go
You can have
Flames.
Christmas. You can have it. You can have other holidays as well. Flag Day.
You said they can have Christmas?
They can have Christmas.
Whoa.
This is my Christmas.
Can I take Christmas?
This is my
I'm going to be on the side with that.
Sorry, guys. Getting a little emotional. It's a great time of year. God, I love sports. Can't stand Domonique Foxworth, but love sports. Anyways, we got tell me again, we got Guardians.
We got the Battle of the Shanes.
The Battle of the Shanes. McClanahan versus Bieber.
Tampa Bay Rays. Cleveland Indian Guardians.
Who's putting out
Indian Guardians.
Hey, which Bieber's putting out more heat? It's Shane, fellas.
Oh, yeah.
We already know
it's a
that.
Bieb fest.
Yeah,
it's a
why don't
Shane
you
fest
stay?
over there.
Look, the Guardians have been an unbelievable story. They win the AL Central. A lot of people thought the White Sox were going to win it, and then Tony La Russa fell asleep in the first inning, and they fell asleep for the second half of the season. But I like the Guardians at home. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm going chalk first game. I'm going chalk across the board. Home teams are going to win them all.
Home team's
going to win them all. Because, look, Jose Ramirez, I love it. Our buddy Rich homie Stephen Kwan, been playing really well. So I really like what the Guardians.
Rich homie Stevie Kwan?
Yeah.
Wait,
What a man, when I walk through. You know who Rich Homie Quan is, Dave?
no.
Little Rich Homie? You don't know the Rich Homie?
Rich homie Stephen Kwan
You don't know.
I don't know who that is.
came into the league balling.
He's actually a
Well,
country,
you better look up.
he's actually a country artist.
You better
and how
look
dare
at. You better
you.
look at the Guardians.
If you're coming into any league, you better be balling.
You better
go last
you
long.
better
Young
get your
Jeezy?
knowledge up or go
I
back
love
to
it.
college, doc.
Okay. Wow.
You
It's
got
a whole
1 year
different show now.
Heisman candidate.
So you're taking the
that reminds
Commander,
me.
I'm taking I'm taking the Commander
the
Guardians.
Cleveland Commander Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm taking the Cleveland Commander Guardian Megan Rapinoe's equal pay for women.
Oh, this is tough, man. This is tough. I don't know who to go with. Big McClanahan guy, slider, disgusting.
The Rays have been playing good lately, though.
I know.
And hey, Jesse Winker's hurt. They've got a couple guys that are on the 10-day.
I never want Cleveland to win since they changed their name, to be honest. I just don't want them to win.
Well, I don't blame the players for that. I love the young group.
Well, I don't blame the players. I blame the organization.
Jose Ramirez, older guy. I mean, still absolutely hitting just tanks.
Yeah, I know. But, I
Thanksgiving
mean,
out
you got
there. Bring the turkey.
You got Randy Arozarena.
Bring the
on
turkey.
Other side. He's
Thanksgiving.
Like, he just closes his eyes and says, "Throw it." So I don't know. Give me the Cleveland whatevers.
The Clevelands.
Yeah, the Cleveland.
The Guard Indians.
Yeah, there
The
you
Guard
go.
Indians. All right, what do we have for the next one? We have Phillies at Cardinals.
Old head. Jose Quintana still out there doing it. Zach, the wheeler and dealer on the mound for the Phillies. And look, I'm so glad the Phillies, and as a Braves fan, am I the biggest Phillies fan? No. But I like seeing the NL East have success until they play the Braves, then we win the World Series. Y'all can have success on the periphery. I think the Cardinals, again, you look at that roster. I mean, we talk about veterans, right? Pujols, Molina. I can go down the list. Experience. I think they're going to make a nice little run here. Quintana needs to come out early and shove a little bit. And when he struggles early, it seems to kind of go downhill for him. He's not a guy that battles back a ton. But I don't think the Phillies win this one. But I do think they're going to win game 2. But I'm going to stay with the chalk at home. Give me the Birds at home.
So the right decision to fire Girardi early in the year?
Looking like it.
Looks
Well,
like
you
it.
got two of the teams that fired their managers early in the year are both in the playoffs.
Look at it. I mean, it's
Blue
incredible.
Jays.
It's incredible.
Phillies.
Look, Adam Wainwright, Glenn Academy, ace. I'm going with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
I love it.
Going with
I
the
love it.
Cardinals
Look, I
this
mean, I'm
series.
going with the Cards. I'll never forgive Kyle Schwarber what he did me in the home run derby. I hope y'all lose every game.
I still think it was fixed. I think
personal?
that was.
You're the 1 seed?
Yeah, no. I
You're
think
the
that was
1
fixed.
seed? I don't want to
one
get into
overall.
it.
That'd be like Steph Curry going up there and missing 6 out of 10 free throws.
Yeah, it's just
It's not going to happen unless you're trying.
And it's for the third leg. It's for the third leg.
Yeah, of course it was. No, he put in a call.
Yeah.
All right. Mariners at Blue Jays. This is your pick, right?
Yes, Alex Manoah on the mound. Look, we talk about youth movement and we talk about how like some pro team sports have their identity. It's like the Eagles are trying to get every player from Alabama and Georgia possible. It seems like the Blue Jays are trying to get every Major League Baseball player's son, which is not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea.
Talked about this yesterday. Bichette, Vladdy Jr., Young Biggio. But you know, when you look at the Blue Jays, another team that fired their manager like we were talking about earlier about halfway through the year and were able to sneak in, I feel like they may get hot in these playoffs and make a little run. They were my pick to win the World Series before the year. I still feel like they have enough in the rotation. They have enough in the pen. I think they're healthy enough. And they do have the ability to score runs in bunches. The biggest thing for the Blue Jays is not relying on the home run or hoping to rely on Vladdy Jr. hitting a home run every game or having to hit a 3-run home run to score runs. They've got to be methodical around the bases. You have got to make the Mariners pitching staff work because they're pretty deep too. All right, you look at Robbie Ray. You look at Logan Gilbert. You look at some of these guys that can trot out in a 3-game series. You need to get to that bullpen early in game 1 and put them in a bad position going in game 2. But I do feel like this is going to be a 3-game series. But give me the Blue Jays tonight.
Give me the Mariners, baby. Let's go. Castillo on the mound.
Another team
I'm a
that's
big
in the
Mariners
playoffs for the
guy.
first time
Big
since
Mariners
2001.
guy. Come on, guys. Bunch of young cats running around there. Win one.
This is a great future glance, too.
Yeah.
I was going to say, well, and we're getting to the Padres next. Don't the Mariners and the Padres feel like they're a year away few, or they?
Well, I think that. Well, I think the Mariners
yeah.
have set themselves up. They got a great farm system too. They've made a lot of good moves. I think when you look at the Padres went all in. Obviously, with Soto, you lose Tatis to the ringworm cream,
situation,
steroids, whatever. I think the Padres are going to be here for a while. I think the Padres have decided to spend, and they want to, try and follow some of these other teams and get these huge names in and give themselves a 3 to 4 year span. When I look at the Mariners and I look at how young they are, Julio Rodriguez, which is must see. Glad to see him getting back off the back injury. No pun intended there. I think we're going to see the Mariners become a big-time threat over the next decade.
Okay, so last one today. It's the 7 p.m. game. Padres at the Mets. Darvish and Scherzer on the mound.
This is the series I'm looking forward to the most out of the wild cards. When you look at some of these pitching matchups, it's absolutely outstanding. I mean, you start with the Mets. Obviously you got Cat Eyes going tonight. You got DeGrom going tomorrow, and then Bassett game 3. What Edwin Diaz and Ottavino and these guys have been able to do coming out of the pen for the Mets has really helped them, and not only achieve the success we saw, but maintain it. Did the Braves catch him? Yes. But hell, the Mets still went 64-44 and were pretty consistent and solid and know how to win. You, Darvish, Max Scherzer, you can sign me up. I think the difference today, 2 guys to watch. Jeff McNeil, who I think is the most underrated hitter in Major League Baseball. Just watch the way he operates. And Brandon Nimmo, who's one of my favorite players to watch, even though both of them play for the Mets. I love their approach. It's a little bit different. They're both from the left side. But I think you'll see Brandon Nimmo, who was hot at the end of the year, come on and have a big game. I like the Mets to win this one, but I think it's going to be pretty low scoring. Who's going to get the big hit late?
I love it, man. That's all for tonight.
Speaking about big hits, a guy that's always dropping big hits in the Oklahoma sphere, our buddy over at 247, Parker Thune. Parker, what's up, buddy?
Hey, not a lot. Very much appreciate an opportunity to be a part of the new show. I guess this is the maiden voyage for me since you guys made the move. So, hey, big congrats is in order to the 3 of you guys moving on up in the world.
Well, Parker, I appreciate it, my friend. And I knew, any place we go, anytime we're talking Oklahoma or the Big 12 in general, you're one of the first guys. They talk about ADs, have that drawer that, it's got like a list of 5 guys that if the coach leaves or he fires them or something like that, then he's going to go pick. Parker's on my list of 5.
Kevin
like,
Costner?
You know what?
Is
we
it
need
Kevin,
a guess.
Are you drafting Parker?
It says Parker Thune no matter what, actually, is what it says on his napkin. But that's a story for another day. But Parker, I want to start off, and I said some on social media, and look, I get fan is short for fanatical. And in the society we live in today, everybody wants everything now. But one of the teams that I thought did a good job of adding in the portal, but was also decimated by the portal, was Oklahoma a little bit with Lincoln Riley going out, taking his talents out there to Southern California. And I look at the team speed on this Oklahoma defense. I want you to just talk about kind of where you're at right now with Oklahoma and Brent Venables' first year, because I know some will panic. Some won't be concerned enough. I think the answer is right there in the middle, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, the bulk of my work on a day-to-day basis is covering recruiting, talking to the guys that have heavy interest in Oklahoma / are committed to Oklahoma. And so one of the things you always want to do in a situation like this, where you got a team that's struggling, is you want to take the pulse of the kids that they're recruiting, figure out what their perception of the school is and whether that's changed depending on what's gone on over the last couple of weeks. And I think there's a consensus expectation among those folks, among those kids that, hey, look, this is how it was going to be at Oklahoma right off the bat. They weren't going to be able to truly build what they're trying to build at Oklahoma under Brent Venables until they're able to get their guys on board. And look, at the end of the day, the loss last weekend to TCU is inexcusable by any measure. The University of Oklahoma doesn't lose games. At least they're not supposed to lose games by a score of 55-24.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there is going to be, and there always were going to be, some growing pains this year in 2022, because you look at what this staff had to do to cobble together a roster in the months of January and February. There were some key losses to the transfer portal, none bigger than Caleb Williams. And look, Dylan Gabriel is a fantastic quarterback, very stable, doesn't turn the ball over, but that's not a 1-for-1 replacement for Caleb Williams. And I don't think anybody would accuse him of being that. There's only one Caleb Williams. He's easily one of the top 3 quarterbacks in all of college football right now. So Oklahoma's going to continue to have some growing pains in 2022. But I think as you look ahead to 23 and 24, that's when the expectation behind the scenes is that Oklahoma's going to start making the gradual climb back to national championship contention.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a matter of time, I think, for Brent. Excuse me, I drank some coffee down the wrong
You almost
pipe.
witnessed
To be honest with
on
you,
set.
to be honest with you, I really held it together. Like, it could have been way worse. I mean, it was about to be like a World War Z coffin situation.
Oh, no, Brad,
that went straight down the wrong pipe.
Yeah.
Man, you look like you just watched a Nicholas Sparks movie or something. over
Wow, that's a good one.
Hey, if you're a bird, I'm a bird.
Or Oklahoma's defense last week. But no,
Wow,
Parker, that
do
is
not let him get away with that.
No.
Okay.
No. All right, I'm back. We good?
Okay, I guess.
All right. Cogs, I can see it. The stars out of my eyes. But Parker, I agree with you 100%. And it's all about recruiting. And we know Brent's the type of person that's a genuine type person. He knows what it looks like. He knows the type players they have to get on defense there that doesn't make Max Dugan look like he's about to run the 100 meters for the Jamaican track team. Also, Dillon Gabriel. We talk about this game this week, the Red River Shootout. That's what we call it here. When you look at Dillon Gabriel and his health, and that was a dirty play by TCU last week, okay? There are some plays that people call dirty that are not dirty. What happened to Thibodeau in the preseason where somebody's just trying to block, kick him out on split zone, keep on outside, that wasn't dirty. That was a dirty play against Dillon Gabriel. The guy launched at his head, you could see it. What are the odds right now? I know you're not a doctor, nor did you stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, but what are the odds that Dillon Gabriel plays Saturday?
Well, it's a flip of the coin right now. And I think just the way that the staff generally handles things like that, I don't think anybody's going to know with absolute certainty. Even if they know sooner than that, I think there's going to be a concerted effort to make sure that nobody on the outside knows with any degree of certainty whether he's going to play or not until Saturday morning when they hit the field. Because look, they're the underdog in this football game, a pretty heavy underdog, all things considered. Mm-hmm. And Texas just announced yesterday, or rather Pete Thamel of ESPN announced, hey, Quinn Ewers is going to be Texas's starter. He's coming back for this football game, which was kind of the consensus expectation.
Yeah.
But even so, that's something that Texas can afford to do because Ewers is their guy. They're the favorite, I think close to a 10-point favorite at this point in time. So that was news that you could afford to get out. You could afford to let it get out. But for Oklahoma with Dillon Gabriel, man, you got to look for every single competitive advantage imaginable. So in this case, with how banged up, with how decimated they are, not just at the quarterback position, but elsewhere on the roster, in this case, that means keeping Dillon Gabriel's status a company secret until the last possible moment.
No, it's the smartest play. It seems like, Conan, it's like this is the week of injured quarterbacks. Bryce Young's day-to-day. Will Levis, we don't know if he's going to play against South Carolina. Dillon Gabriel, now we know Quinn Ewers is coming back. It just seems like it's just that this is the week where all the quarterbacks started.
Yeah, it is a little bit weird. You're talking about Quinn Ewers coming back. What do you expect from him? And is there any, sentiment from Oklahoma fans that you'd almost rather see Quinn Ewers and just hope that he's not ready to be back and maybe he's a little banged up than face Hudson Card potentially healthy?
Well, I want to rewind, guys, to 2009 because the first thing I thought when I saw Quinn Ewers' shoulder injury against Alabama was, oh, man, that looked strikingly similar to Sam Bradford's shoulder injury in 2009 that he suffered in the season opener against BYU. Well, later on in that season, Sam Bradford kind of tried to rush it back. And in this game, in the Red River Showdown, took another hit from Aaron Williams of Texas, landed on that shoulder, and that was it for his season. Yeah. So I'm not saying there's a direct parallel there, but I also think that that was my first thought watching that unfold, and that's kind of honestly my first thought knowing that Ewers is going to return for the game this weekend is it too soon to bring him back? I obviously, you have to trust the medical staff, the people who know what they're doing, but you can't help but notice some of those parallels, especially with how visually similar those two injuries look. As far as Oklahoma's ability to defend Ewers, here's where I stand on it. That Oklahoma defense has not been good the last couple of weeks, not remotely. They gave up 511 total yards of offense to Kansas State. They gave up 668 total yards of offense to TCU, and it could have been a whole heck of a lot worse than that if TCU had wanted it to be. So with that said, I do think Oklahoma probably has a little bit more confidence walking into this matchup, just based on Ewers' skill set versus two guys, in Adrian Martinez and Max Duggan, that certainly have the capacity to hurt you with their legs. Quinn Ewers just isn't that guy. Not to say that he's immobile, but he's not a true dual threat like Max Duggan or Adrian Martinez. And that's really where you saw the game open up for Kansas State and for TCU the last couple of weeks against Oklahoma was in the quarterback run game. So Ewers is a fantastic passer. Been watching him since high school, and the hype is real. The hype is probably a little bit overblown because I don't know that anybody is worthy of being the consensus number 1 overall player out of high school, especially at the quarterback position. But I will say Ewers is a very accurate passer, has the ability to push the ball downfield, decisive in the pocket. And so this is going to need to be a signature performance from Venables' defense to be able to slow him down and keep this game close. Because especially if Dylan Gabriel doesn't play, you can't count on putting 55 points on the board in this game like you did a year ago. This game is going to have to be won on the backs of your defense.
Well, we saw the first half potential in that Alabama game from Quinn Ewers, and I hope that when he's coming back, it's because he's ready and not because, it's just a big game that they want to get him back for. On the Oklahoma perspective, we were pointing out all offseason how favorable the schedule is. You get Baylor and Oklahoma State at home. You get Kansas at home, which isn't something I would have pointed out before they build off 5 in a row.
We're talking about basketball.
You've dropped the last 2, but the schedule is still favorable. What do you think the ceiling is now for Oklahoma this season?
Well, that's a great question, and I don't mean to sound like I'm taking the cop-out route on you guys, but so much every single year, and even more so this year, depends on what happens this weekend, because this is always the game that makes or breaks the season for each of these two teams. You don't have to look any further than last year with Texas to see very tangible evidence of that. Texas came into that game 4-1. They get out to a 28-7 lead by the end of the first quarter in that football game. Then you get the nation's introduction to Caleb Williams down the stretch in the second half, and boom, it takes the wind out of Texas's sails. They stumble to the finish line 5-7, don't even make a bowl game. That's how much is tied into this game in terms of momentum for the remainder of your season. It was a very similar phenomenon in 2020 for Oklahoma and Texas. Texas led that game. Oklahoma comes back, wins in quadruple overtime. Thereafter, an Oklahoma team that had started that campaign 1-2, didn't lose again, went on to win the Big 12 championship and pounded Florida in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. So I think a lot, quite honestly, is contingent upon what happens tomorrow morning between OU and Texas, because the outcome of this game could be the difference between going 9-3 and going 6-6.
Yeah, it's the inflection point.
Yep,
it really is.
Well, I think growing pains, Parker, are one thing, and then realizing, maybe you're just a short king, and you look at this Oklahoma team. I feel like the only thing we're doing is talk about quarterbacks in this game.
Hold on.
And no one's talking about.
Did you just talk about growing pains, and then sometimes you realize you're a short king?
Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty good.
And you like that?
You're on fire. You're on fire lately. I got to be honest.
It's Flaming Dragon Friday. I feel like we're talking about Quinn Ewers, talking about the quarterbacks, but man, what's Oklahoma's game plan to stop the best running back in the league? And that's Bijan the Lambo Robinson. What does Oklahoma have to do? Maybe put 15 people on the field?
Poison.
I don't know. Give him COVID before the game. What are you thinking, Parker?
Yeah, I think the concession you just kind of have to make with a guy like Bijan Robinson is that he's going to get his. And he did last year in this game, and Oklahoma still came out on the winning end. I already mentioned, there's a very stark difference between Oklahoma's offensive firepower last year versus this year. But I don't think it's as much about stopping Bijan Robinson, because that's only so realistic. You just can't let him single-handedly beat you. You're going to concede that he's going to rush for 100 yards, probably going to find the end zone once or twice, but you can't have that dude going for 275 and 3 touchdowns on the ground and being the reason why you lose. When Adrian Peterson was a freshman in this game back in 2004, it was really his coming out party. Oklahoma won that game 12-0 over Texas. He rushed for 225 yards. He was the difference in that football game. And you can't let Bijan Robinson be that tomorrow. It's okay if he gets his. It's okay if he cracks triple digits as far as rushing yards, but you can't let that guy just continue to go back to the well and back to the well and back to the well and continue to beat you with 5 and 6 yard gains on every single snap.
Yeah. I love it. All right, I'm going to go to the Booster Club here. Let's go to J-Chain, hashtag Ask Parker. How do most OU fans feel about coming to the SEC?
As far as the move to the SEC, I will say this. I think there's a healthy degree of apprehension just because of, I wouldn't necessarily call it the fear of the unknown.
Just change.
But but just the reality that there's been so much change over the past year for Oklahoma as they're on the precipice of this move. Now, I do think that in Brent Venables, and I think this is something we've talked about on this show before, Jake, in Brent Venables, you have a guy who's far more equipped to lead this program into the SEC and to be the spearhead for that transition than Lincoln Riley was. Yeah. And that's no knock on Lincoln Riley. I think he's a great coach, but his brand of football probably isn't as conducive to the SEC and the type of ball that they play as what Brent Venables does and what his staff does. So I think whenever this move happens, and there is kind of some uncertainty as to whether it's 2023 or 2024, I don't think it's going to be till 2025. I think it'll be sooner than that.
I agree with you.
But whenever that move does happen, I think there's a quiet confidence that Oklahoma is going to be able to compete in that league. But here's the deal. As we've seen play out over the past decade or so, if you're not Alabama in the SEC, there are going to be ups and downs. And that's just something that Oklahoma fans are going to have to get accustomed to, because this year is the first legitimate down that they have had in quite some time. They're used to being the most consistent program in the Big 12. They're used to being on top of that league every single year. And that's just not a realistic expectation that you can have in the SEC, no matter how good, no matter how consistent of a program you are, until the day that Nick Saban's no longer the head coach at Alabama.
Yeah, and then obviously, what Kirby's done at Georgia, and we always say when we talk about Oklahoma and Texas coming to the SEC, or any team going to a new conference, the longer you stay in the ocean, the more you realize how to swim with the current. I think it's going to take a couple years. You'll have some big wins, some tough losses, but Oklahoma will be fine. What real quick points before we let Parker go? The thing with Bijan Robinson is you have to gang tackle him, but you cannot let him get into the second level untouched. That he needs to either have to move laterally, or somebody has to grab him and make him break a tackle at the line of scrimmage or a couple yards past the line of scrimmage, because Oklahoma does not have the speed to run him down once he gets to the corner. And that's how you run for 225 yards. So you do what Jahmyr Gibbs did against Arkansas, hit that second level, and nobody can catch me as well. But Parker, great stuff, my friend. Got to have you back on again. Tell everybody where they can find your content. I know you're excited about this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can follow me on social media at Parker Thune. Sooner fans, if you're not already a member over at OUinsider.com, that's the place to be for all of your up-to-speed insider info on OU football and recruiting. Stay tuned over the next few hours to see if there's any update on Dylan Gabriel's status, as well as the status of Oklahoma starting safety Billy Bowman. That's kind of the two guys that everybody's got questions about their availability leading into this football game. So, Jake, fellas, very much appreciate you guys, and we'll do this again at some point.
For sure, Parker. Appreciate you, my friend. Man. And I bet he plays. I bet Gabriel plays.
You think so?
Ewers going to play. Gabriel's going to play. And, they're not the NFL. So at least they'll it'll be a decision that is probably correct.
I love it.
Yeah, no, Parker did a great job. Hey, if you want to watch the rest of this, remember you can listen if you want to stay here. Head over to the Daily Wire Plus. Become a member or listen with your mind, heart, and eyes on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe. Leave a 5-star review, because they won't let you leave a 6, and share it with your friends. All right, we're a second-half team, even though really we're kind of halfway through the fourth quarter. So we're halfway through the fourth quarter type team. What's going on in the Booster Club, Flame?
A lot of things. First off, can someone please turn the AC off in here? I'm slowly turning into Michael Keaton, turning into a snowman and giving people advice. So, please, just stop. I'm so cold. I'm so cold.
This is you, or this is someone from the Booster Club?
No, this is me. I'm just
Flame said he's
right behind me.
Michael Keaton.
Jack Frost. Y'all remember that movie? Jack Frost, where he slides into 18-wheelers, he turns into a snowman and just annoys everybody for 2 hours. That's what I'm slowly turning into.
What's going on?
Okay, so
what is going on over there
Let's go to Texas Ed. Texas Ed, and a name we didn't mention in this game, who's an absolute stud.
Not think it'd be a Jack Frost reference.
Yeah, he's absolute stud. I mean, he threw a pass. Bibby Miles, he's catching passes, running passes, throwing passes.
You're up 45-3. Take him out.
That's Xavier Worthy. Texas Ed says Xavier Worthy needs to blow the top off the defense. And after that, Bijan will be shared in the run game.
Yeah, well, he can blow the top off this defense, but the biggest thing I think you're going to see, Oklahoma is going to try and keep everything in front of him. So I think you're going to see him open and intermediate. He'll make a guy miss. I highly doubt that you're going to see him in a ton of one-on-one situations down the field or just going to be running scot-free because Oklahoma's got 2 guys they really got to worry about. Like you said, Xavier Worthy, Bijan Robinson. Quentin Ewers comes back, not the best runner, but he is an absolute dart thrower when it comes to it. And he's not afraid. He's a dart thrower. There it is. Yep.
And I'm loving all the Andrew Clavin vibes in the Daily Wire chat. Love to see it. Let's go to M. Hutton. He says, how do we know Venables' brand of football? He's a first-time head coach. He was at D.C., and his defense at OU is poop emoji.
Yeah, well, again, he just got to OU. I mean, Brent Venables, when you look at he's at Clemson long enough to where we know who he is. We know what he's about. He's a defensive guy. But he's also, from a motivation standpoint and from a physicality standpoint, you can just see it. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's a reach here. I don't think we're sitting here guessing at what type of culture they want to build or what type of identity Oklahoma wants. They want a physical, get after you on defense, be able to run the ball, good play-action game, go fast with Jeff Lebby. I am very interested to see what the offense looks like if Jeff Lebby is still there 3 years down the road once Venables has the guys on defense. Do they start going even slower and becoming more of a balanced team, complementary-wise, offense, defense, and special teams, and not going super fast on offense, and then the defense having to play catch-up once they get the depth?
If I told you that out of Steve Sarkisian at Texas and Brent Venables at Oklahoma, that only one of those coaches will still be with the program when they make the move to the SEC, which one would you say?
Venables.
Over Steve Sarkisian?
Yeah, because I would think, if Steve and them balled out next year or whatever, won a national championship, I think Steve would look at the NFL.
Okay.
I think
it'll be because they both had success?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because I don't see them firing Venables in the first 3 years. Like Parker said, I agree. I think they'll be in Oklahoma and Texas will be in the SEC by 2024. I really believe that.
So not next season, but the season after that.
Yeah.
SEC. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Love it, guys.
That's the latest.
Cobras. All right, Travis Elrod, #Ask Parker. Parker's gone, so I'm going to ask this to y'all too.
Okay.
All right, is going to the SEC going to hurt or help Oklahoma with recruiting?
I mean, I think it helps you.
Gotta help.
I mean, I think it helps you. You're already recruiting fine at Oklahoma, but now when you go to the state of, let's be honest, there's some good high school football in Oklahoma. Broken Arrow's really good at recruiting the state. Believe me, I know. But when you're playing in the SEC, you're playing games in the Southeast. So when you go to these high schools in Alabama and Georgia and Florida and stuff like that, you can say, hey, guess what? You don't have to fly across the country 6 out of the 12 games to watch your son play. The best part is, yeah, you can come fly out there and watch him play home games, but we're going to be playing closer to you during the year. That's a big thing. Proximity is a big thing. So I think it's going to help them, plus the Oklahoma brand and just being in the SEC because you're going to get serious looks from NFL scouts. I read you the draft numbers yesterday. I mean, they've literally led the draft and players drafted for like the last 16 years until the sun and the moon split.
Long time.
Emmanuel C., #Ask Crane & Company. There needs to be a Booster Club shirt with Michigan color scheme. Cone looks like he's wearing the Ohio State jersey all over again. Looking out for you, Cone.
Man, who said that?
That's Emmanuel C.
Emmanuel C is always looking out.
He's a real one.
That.
He is. He'd be a great Periscope operator.
Can we get the Booster Club shirt in maize and blue?
Yeah.
By the time the show ends?
Yeah, we need, by the way, too, we need to send out those Hall of Fame shirts, too.
Hall of Fame shirts.
Yes.
We need those as well.
We got something cooking up.
Yes. Thank you, Emmanuel C.
Yes.
Got a lot cooking right here.
Yes.
All right, let's go to the Daily Wire chat. Blaine's an ant. I appreciate you spelling my name right.
Like A-U-N-T or A-N-T?
A-N-T.
Okay.
You're an ant?
It's a Bug's Life over here. Yeah.
No, that's what he said. Yeah, I'm an ant. He says, can we get a flaming dragon sound effect? We have that. Hit it.
Yeah, hit it.
You ready? Hold on. I have one. Oh, sorry.
This is flaming.
Yes.
The double flaming dragon.
What is going on?
Yes.
We get a double.
I love it.
It's Friday.
Dogfather.
And we meant to play that when you were introduced. That's my bad.
No,
It's okay.
That's my bad.
I'll never forget.
We had a thing.
You don't have to tell everybody.
I'll never forget.
Yeah. You know what? It's not my bad. Hey, you know what? It's not my bad. I'm like Tony in heavyweights. It's not my
Don't
fault.
assume his feelings.
You know whose fault it is?
Domonique.
It's the fans' fault.
It's the list. Everyone
not
in the
my
chat.
fans' fault.
It's
Not
the
my
Booster
fault. It's not my
Club's
fault.
fault.
Their fault.
Is a statement I would never say.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right, let's go to
If he ever goes
Dogfather.
after the Booster Club, I mean, look.
It's over for you.
Yeah, we'll play.
over for
Yeah,
Like,
what
they're coming after you.
would my mindset and the game of Operation have in common if that happened? We're both using our hands. So get ready for that.
That's true.
All right, Dogfather. He says, tuning in late from Naples. Is it possible the Seahawks got the better end of the Russell Wilson's trade?
First off, enjoy Italy. Second off, Yeah, starting to feel like Pete Carroll kind of sold you. You didn't check the Carfax.
What did you say earlier? What was
sold him a lemon.
He sold him a lemon.
Yeah,
man.
Pete's like, look, man, look, she's. Yeah, you come look at the car, be like, look, this looks good, new paint job, let's ride.
Yes, serial killer.
Doesn't.
It's a perfect. It's a perfect segue.
Why are you looking through me?
Maybe you should start worrying about which you're gonna eat and start throwing some touchdown passes. Now, I will say this. The offensive lines last night for both teams, couldn't block somebody on a social media app run by the state media in China. Like, it just was so bad. That poor left tackle, Rahman, whatever his name is, from the Colts, was just absolutely trying to catch Nightcrawler from X-Men. Like, Bradley, like the Browning guy, Bradley, I can't even say his name, Bradley Browning, literally looked like the play would start and he would just disappear and show up in the backfield, sacking Matt Ryan. Or Chubb, Bradley's just out there just smushing the line of scrimmage. Poor Matt Ryan. I can't believe they ended up winning that game. But look, man, Russell didn't look good either. You made some terrible decisions.
This was the most inept that I've seen both of these quarterbacks.
That pick he threw up 9-6 with 2 minutes to go in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Was a horrible decision. Number one, run the ball, bro. Just run the ball. Make him use their last time out. They've been struggling on offense. Make him go the whole field and have to score a touchdown to beat you because that would have put you up 6. But Russell just looked off. They got to find a way to get Jerry Jeudy more involved. Mm-hmm. Sutton did fine for me last night.
We overthrew one in the end zone.
You got to find a way to get Jerry Jeudy more involved. He's way too good. I didn't think Melvin Gordon was bad. Didn't think he was bad last night.
It was the most inept that I've seen both of these quarterbacks. And while Russell Wilson, because I've had him in the top 10 of my quarterbacks for a while now, that is more surprising the way he's been playing. Mm-hmm. I'm still surprised by Matt Ryan. I know a lot of Falcons fans, they kind of said, well, he's done anyway, don't expect much at the Colts. But with that offensive line that we said yesterday was a preseason top 10, and you have the number one consensus fantasy, well, preseason I think they were number 10, but
highest paid, I think.
Either way, they've underperformed, right? Mm-hmm. And you have one of the best running backs in the league, the consensus number 1 overall pick in most fantasy leagues. Matt Ryan, to me, was serviceable enough to go in and win football games for the Colts. Now, I know they won yesterday, but 12-9 with an all-field goal game isn't exactly what I think of when I think of a Thursday night matchup. And I don't want to, and this game wasn't disappointing to me just because it was 12-9 was the score. There are ways that you can have a defensive battle and it be a great football game, okay? So don't just look at the score and say, oh, that was boring or that was a bad football game. There was just bad football being played in all facets of the game.
There was. It's about as unfundamental as it gets from a decision-making, the quarterback standpoint, to technique on blocks, to holding penalties. It seemed like, the Colts were holding more than a Swiss bank account in the backfield trying to protect Matt Ryan. He still got sacked like a potato.
All right, let's go to Rhino with a $5 donation. Rhino, I appreciate the donation, buddy, but I cannot read that on the show.
What? Give me a hint.
Read it.
It's about Texas A&M and conditioning.
Okay.
I've got a pretty decent idea where you're
Would you remember it so later we can laugh about it?
We'll laugh about it after.
We won't laugh about it, to be honest, but I will remember it later for sure.
Okay.
Let's go to John Matthews, says, #Ask Crane & Company. I'm from Minnesota, the place where sports dreams go to die. That's depressing. But which Minnesota team will have a better chance at a championship over the next 5 years? Twins, Vikings, Wild, or the Wolves?
Man, I really want to say the Wild on ice. But, I'm going to go the Vikings because I believe in Kirk Cousins, guys.
Really?
I do. And I know we come
You want him to win so bad.
And it's fun to hear Blaine call him mid while still supporting Baker Mayfield. And then
I don't know. I'm not doing this again because it always goes back to Baker Mayfield with you, and I don't know why.
Because you gassed up Baker Mayfield the whole offseason.
I said he's I said he was the 15th to 20th best quarterback in the NFL. That's gassing someone up.
Have you seen Baker play? You think he's the 15th to 20th best quarterback in the NFL?
Yes.
I think he's the 21st to the 32nd.
The Panthers are trash.
No.
Who they got?
See,
Christian McCaffrey.
Who else?
DJ Moore.
Robbie
Anderson. Robbie Anderson.
Excuse me, change his name. And then Robbie Anderson, hey, I'm open deep. Baker, please throw it.
No, he's not.
That's a heck of a name.
Well, it's funny. Baker, I guess it's everybody's fault that Baker leads the league in passes batted down. He just throws it right into the chest.
Offensive line, get their hands down.
And he's 5'9".
Get their hands down.
And he's 5'9".
That's your job.
No, Baker's throwing balls into the blitzer on the hot that nobody's picking up.
Your job.
That's how bad it is. The dude's been tipped more than a waitress at an expensive restaurant.
Kirk Cousins,
he leads the league. He leads the NFL in 3 turnover or more games.
Look, Kirk Cousins.
Let me see.
Kirk Cousins will never win a Super Bowl.
peach. Let me say
Ever.
strawberry.
Neither
and
are
Baker Mayfield. What do all four of those things have in
Tell
common?
me.
Yeah, when they get baked, they're turnovers.
Their turnovers.
And
Kirk
he's
Cousins will never win a Super
How about
Bowl,
look at the
ever.
Baker
division
Mayfield
right
will
now.
never win.
Never.
Like,
He won't either.
let's see
Baker
Aaron
Mayfield
Rodgers.
may never make the playoffs again.
Look at the
Davis
division
talking
one second.
about
I mean, if Aaron Rodgers retires soon, right, which I think could happen, the Bears aren't awesome right now. Lions, I mean, as long as they're really good in the division for a while, they have a chance in the playoffs to me. And if you have a chance,
The Vikings here to stay. You got
have a
Justin
chance.
Jefferson. Look,
like to me, they have the
Dalvin
most
Cook.
staying power in that division right
Let the
now.
Vikings win the
If
Super Bowl.
if Aaron Rodgers retires,
There's no way.
if Aaron Rodgers pulls a Tom Brady and he's around for another 12 years, yeah, I mean,
Let the Vikings win the Super Bowl, or just get there.
what's going to happen
Let him just
In the next 5 years.
let him get there this year.
this year?
Watch
this
what
season?
happens.
Okay.
I'll be hell on this.
Because
Make a bet?
You know why? Because the Super Bowl is not on.
I'll make a bet.
It's
make a
not
I'll
on
bet
Monday
you
night.
$1,000 Kirk Cousins makes the Super Bowl before Baker Mayfield ever does.
No, I'm not making that bet. He's on the Vikings.
Well, then don't ask me if you want to make a bet.
No. Let's make this bet. Kirk Cousins wins the Super Bowl the next 5 years.
In the next 5 years.
Next 5 years. $1,000.
You want me to bet $1,000 on it?
After what you just
what are
said
you
to me?
losing? What are you losing?
Maybe
Like, that's not
Hey,
even
no,
a
you're so
reasonable bet.
confident Kirk Cousins
How about
going to the
this?
Super Bowl.
How about this?
5 years.
You pick a team.
G, a band.
You pick a
Kirk
team.
Cousins.
You pick a team that you think is going to make the Super Bowl in the next 5 years that everyone's
Bills.
not picking. I tell you what.
You said pick a team.
This is, you know what I
said
meant.
pick a team,
You're no
bud.
fun. That's
Oh,
why.
okay.
That's why you're a
Okay.
Yankees fan
All right.
and a Duke fan and a
Duke
Warriors
fan. I'm an
or excuse me, a
Auburn
Lakers
basketball
fan.
fan.
You're
Thank
a
you.
Yankees fan, a Lakers fan.
I'm not a Lakers fan. That's a lie.
You're not a Lakers fan.
No, I'm not a fan of the NBA. I'm a LeBron fan.
Who's LeBron played for?
I don't go for the Lakers. I don't root for any NBA
Wait,
team
hold on.
at
So
all.
I want you to explain this to the world.
Yeah.
You're a LeBron fan who plays for the Lakers.
True.
But you're not a Lakers fan. That makes no sense.
I don't care enough about basketball.
That makes
I
no
like
sense.
LeBron.
That
I
makes
think LeBron's the
absolutely
greatest
no
player. That
sense
kind of
at
what
all.
it goes back to is the greatest player argument. That's why I lean LeBron. But I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm not a fan of any NBA team. Am I a Yankees fan? Yes, I've been a Yankees fan since I was a wee lad.
That's a Duke
That's a
fan.
wee
Well,
lad.
You're a Duke basketball fan.
No, I'm not.
You're a Duke basketball fan because you,
How? Because I picked him against North Carolina?
yeah.
Well, my
This
thing
is what I
all the time.
deal with, guys.
First degree
This is what I deal with.
bandwagonism.
Stuff like this.
First
This is what I
degree
like.
premeditated
Tone saying this.
bandwagonism.
We all watched Jake just get COVID on the show when Parker Thune was on. Like, I mean, this is what I deal with on a regular basis. And it all comes back because I'm a Yankees fan. That's what it comes to. Whoa, well, you're this, you're that. No. I'm an Auburn football fan. What bandwagon would I ever be? I'm an Auburn basketball fan. I'm a Yankees fan. Don't care about the NBA. I'm a Flames fan in hockey.
You're a Flyers fan.
I'm Flyers. Excuse me.
even know.
You don't even know what fan you are. Why are you a Flyers fan?
Because they're the worst team.
Okay.
He's trying
But
to
I'm a fan.
He's trying to
I'm a
negate.
bandwagon
He's trying to
guy.
negate the Yankees.
He's like, which sport do I care about
Blaine
the least?
decided-
Hockey, I'm going to pick
Blaine-
the worst team.
Blaine decided to pick the Flyers for this exact argument. No, for this exactly.
and then he
why.
forgot.
Just how I know how manipulative my brother, the way his mind works. The minute he was picking after I committed
Not
the
true.
Predators, after all the hell he's gone from being a Yankees fan, he went and looked up the worst team he could.
Because I'm a
And
Yankees
then-
fan. Because I'm a Yankees fan. That's why.
And then you still got it wrong and picked a good team, the Flames.
That was funny. That was funny.
Oh, man.
All right, Flaming Dragon. Let's go to the Booster Club real quick.
$4.
Four.
99-cent donation, guys.
Human dollars?
Human dollars.
Get up like my stuff.
Yeah, Stetson Bennett. Oh, yeah. Love this. Stetson Bennett is the worst quarterback to ever win a title, and UGA struggles with Monkey and has to have play calls around his shortcomings.
Somebody say, read me the first part again.
Stetson Bennett's the worst quarterback ever to live to play football.
I'm sick of the
False.
Stetson hate.
False.
I'm sick of it. You know what? We can make fun of Kirk
Make
Cousins.
sure you stay in
here.
frame over there, all right?
We can make
There you go. Stay in frame.
fun of Kirk Cousins. All right, we can make fun of watching the disaster that's Auburn right now. TJ Finley out there trying to see how many times he can throw to the other team while Robbie Ashford, in the offensive line lets us down. We can make fun of all those. But Stetson Bennett, at the end of the day, the mailman, the walk-on, the little engine that did, don't make fun of Stetson Bennett. Dude's a little witch. Anyways, continue.
I agree.
Devin21 says, I've never heard Blaine say he was a Duke fan, but saying he's an Auburn fan is is a stretch after the way he's been talking. I talk about Auburn because I care.
Yeah.
Too much. All right.
The worst thing, it's like having a kid. Like, so if you really love your kid, you're just gonna let him do whatever he wants.
Yeah, no, I get
Oh
it.
no, you can have cupcakes for breakfast. Oh yeah, bring in Derek Mason. Like, you're just gonna let him do whatever you want. No, if you really care about the place, you can be honest about it. When it's going good, when it's going bad. You got an A on your math test. Let's get excited about it. We're going to Chuck E. Cheese. We'll play skee ball. You can invite some friends. We'll get pizza, and I'll let you drink Coca-Cola after 7 o'clock. Oh, you made an F on your test. Well, now you're grounded, and you're not going out to play with your friends until you fix it. And if they're the reason, you're going to get new friends. So caring about a place isn't just being nice about it all the time. That's the worst thing you can do, and that's how you end up being where Nebraska is.
We can say a lot of things about Blaine, but we cannot question his love for Auburn.
Yeah,
that's true.
That is a fact.
All right, let's go to Alicia's Action Figure Frenzy. $5 donation.
Yes.
Love it. She says, I'm a Reds fan. So what does that mean? I think she might have meant to put mean. What does that mean? Big red machine for life.
Look, that means you're a true fan and you're also a masochist. I'm sorry about that if you like to, hurt yourself by watching the Reds like many other fans do. But I'm guessing if you're a Reds fan, you're probably a Bengals fan, and you did just get to play in the Super Bowl and Joey B, a.k.a. the king with the arm of gold.
Rhino,
She's
$5.
like, no, I'm a Falcons fan.
Rhino, $5 donation says, Blaine made a good call. That comment I made had bad taste. Ryan, it's a little early, but hey, one thing, there's not an E at the end of my name. Well, there's a little pet peeve.
No, was it about you or us?
A little pet peeve. No, he says, the guy earlier who dropped the donation that I couldn't read aloud.
Yes.
Says, Blaine made a good call on that comment I made. I had a little bit of a bad taste right there. That's okay. Hey, you're safe. You're trust tree.
Blaney.
Trust tree.
Sometimes the steak gets overcooked.
Hey.
Sometimes the steak gets overcooked. Let's keep it rolling. over there.
Okay, bubbly gut. Nothing worse than that.
Nope.
Stetson Bennett is older than Kirk Cousins.
But younger than Sean Clifford.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, Sean Clifford's been at Penn State since John Wooden was at UCLA.
Brad High says, Blaine is not an Auburn fan. I bet he's just a Cam Newton fan.
Ooh.
Look, there's certain trees you can bark up, buddy. I promise you that one.
You loved it.
Benzin Jen says Russell Wilson unfollowed. No, can't read that.
Good
Can't
save.
read that.
Good save.
Okay. M. Hutton says Kirk Cousins is mid. Baker Mayfield is midder.
Midder.
Yes. Midder is a word.
Super
Don't
midder.
disagree.
Midder is a word.
Josh Ragan, hashtag Ask Crane Company.
Josh Reagan.
Reagan, excuse me. Who do you take right now, Cousins, Russ, or Baker?
Cousins.
I'm taking Russ.
I've still got to take Russ, but I'll tell you what, I can only watch so many performances like this.
I'm taking Kirk right now.
All right, let's go to Andrew Carlson. Baker is better than Russell Wilson right now.
Oof.
At what?
The game of football.
At commercials.
commercials?
At commercials, yes.
That Heisman commercial is funny.
It is funny. We're
yes.
right
Russell Wilson.
They're doing a good job on
It's
that.
funny.
Ratchet Dewan says, when's Crane's debate coming back? The judge.
Oh, the head-to-head?
We got to get some quality head-to-head.
Soon.
You know what I'm saying? We
Tell them to send in
We really
head-to-head
need something to
topics.
argue. Maybe we should do that. Let's send the best things to argue about for head-to-head.
Yeah, tell
Yeah,
them to
send in
them
the best arguments for head-to-head that you like.
I think so.
I want to be the judge next.
Okay. Let's go to Riot Highs. Kirk Cousins is the uncle that shows up to your birthday and eats all the cake, gets you nothing but makes your parents laugh so he gets to come back next time.
Yeah, that's
For
a great
sure.
uncle.
But not on Mondays.
Not on Monday.
Not on Mondays.
I agree. Let's go to Pants to My Nipples. Louisiana, I don't know what
Is that
to say.
it? Is that?
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it's a great
He
hymn.
says, Louisiana does not have MLB, and I'm a fan of whoever wins the World Series. That's okay. Like, if you don't have an MLB.
Well, as long as you're not out here just like, just this year, I'm riding with the Yankees from day one, or I'm riding with the Mets from day one, or whatever. If you just like the team that wins the World Series and cheer for the World Series, that's one thing.
Yeah.
That's acceptable.
Emmanuel C. says, Stetson Bennett is a real-life Van Wilder. No,
I love, number one, that's a great movie that I haven't watched in a while, and the fact that you just brought that up, probably going to watch that at some point, not this weekend, maybe not the next 27 days, because we got 27 days of football. I'm out here throwing 7 different kinds of smoke.
You, me, and Dupree. I know that one.
There it
Great
is.
movie.
An actual good comedy.
Great comedy.
I know what you're like referring
solid-
to.
no.
I know what you're referring to.
No.
What, don't?
7 different kinds of smoke.
You're digging holes.
So what he said, incidentally, what's your philosophy on Columbus Day? He said, we work. Really? The guy discovered the new world.
Dude, that Drill Bit Taylor's a funny movie, too.
That is too.
Drill Bit Taylor's
Owen Wilson.
Actually, you know what? Let's get one more, Blaine. I'm feeling generous.
You want one more? Let's go to Mike RFF Lifestyle, hashtag Ask Crane & Company. Update on the rugby ball gift, making sure you got it. Hey, right now, we're investigating.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
We're going through the time it got into where we are into the time now. I mean, we got lawyers, we got people. You know,
there's doctors,
We
scientists.
waterboarded 3 people already, so we're gonna get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, oh, believe me. It happened in my house, in my garage.
Yes.
It's not here, so she doesn't know. All right, here's what we got tonight, yesterday. Guys, 13-7 on the month right now. 40.
Hey, you're running away with the dog. Congrats, man.
Would you just let me?
Congrats.
Can I just get through?
Can we go ahead and bring the podium in first?
Can you just let me get through
Will y'all
this
fly
before
the
you make
podium
one
in?
of your smart remarks?
Go ahead, buddy.
That's actually really dumb. See, now my train of thoughts off.
Well, hold on.
Now my
Let
train
me
of thoughts
just
off.
pick up the pieces of my heart real quick after that. Jeez, dude. That was aggressive. Calm down.
Well, now you got me up.
You dumb idiot.
Yesterday, all right, I'm 45-30 against the spread. And there's a lot of bad things that have happened. All right, and we're going to break down this proposal slap in a second, but I got to get through these bets. Yesterday, had the Broncos -2.5 and the under.
It's a good bet.
The under hit. Should have been 2-0 yesterday. That's fine. We're 13-7. Give me the Houston-Memphis over 59.5, guys. The number's at 58. The number's at 58,
points.
but I want plus money. I want plus money. You know what it smells like to me? 34-31. Memphis kicks a field goal to win it at the end. That's plus 105. Then Colorado State. You want to talk about inept? Not adept? Couldn't catch minnows with a 10-foot net? It's Colorado State's football team. Y'all know there's more bars than Alcatraz in here. You lost to Sacramento State by 31. Hell, the Sacramento Kings haven't beat anybody by 31 last 31 years. So you have a team in Nevada. I know you don't have Carson Strong. I know you lost some NFL guys. I know, hell, you lost your coach to where? Colorado State, Jay Norvell, but he's coming back home with a team that is so trash they should pick up my garbage on Thursday morning while I'm at work. So give me Nevada -4.5 at plus 105. That's 2 plus money bets. I'm 5 out of my 6 last dog bets, which makes me a dog.
I like the Houston-Memphis over. I'm going to take that as well, but I'm buying it down to 53.5 because I don't have that much confidence in Houston to score. That's at -180. And then I want a Nerfy. I want a Nerfy in the Rays, Indians, Guardians game. Okay, no runs, first inning. That's -195 in the Shane Fest.
I'm surprised you didn't go Padres Mets.
Huh?
With Hugh.
Hugh versus Maxie.
Man, a lot of big bats. I
can't
don't
not
want
bet
to
on
be throwing up
football
against the
when it's
polar bear in first inning and all sorts of stuff. I want the Shane Fest.
Definitely not
McClanahan, Bieber, hey, you're out. Let's get to the second and then do whatever.
Definitely don't take the Nerfy.
Play a game called It's the Second already.
Definitely don't take the Nerfy in the Cardinals game because Paul Goldschmidt will hit it.
Oh, no, that's a home run.
Paul Goldschmidt, by the way, leading the Cardinals in batting average, RBIs, and home runs.
He's good.
Yeah, Paulie gets right. I'm also
G.
taking that over 53.5 in the Houston-Memphis Dave. So a little bet buzz
Really?
right there.
Okay.
Little bet buzz.
6-point difference.
Then UNLV. The UNLV San Jose State over 48.5. I bought this down. UNLV played pretty good. I can't remember exactly the team they played last week, but played pretty good. The offense looked okay. I watched San Jose State against Auburn run them into the fourth quarter. They have some receivers who can actually play.
Quarterback's a little witchy.
Yeah. So give me the over at 48.5. Hey, we're taking overs. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be the little kid sitting over there taking unders. I'd rather lose with an over.
Yeah, you only live once. Baby Cone, he's gonna take the Nebraska Rutgers under 54.5 at -185 and Nevada money line.
Nevada money line.
-165.
Colorado State.
All right.
I have
Cone,
two
set
things
this
here.
up.
I have two things. First of all, 3-time Pro Bowler Le'Veon Bell. We know he knocked out Adrian Peterson in his amateur boxing match the other day. I guess that gave him a lot of confidence because he is going to make his pro boxing debut on October 29th.
We're about to find out. We're about to find out. You're not fighting a former football player anymore. You're fighting a professional boxer. We're going to know. But Le'Veon, I mean, look, I want to sleep on Le'Veon.
Yeah, I will.
Le'Veon, fight me.
You want to fight Le'Veon?
You would fight Le'Veon?
For sure.
You want to fight Le'Veon Bell?
Yeah.
All right,
after what he did to Adrian Peterson.
Our Adrian Peterson fight me. One of the other Adrian Petersons. You need a bounce back fight. What's up, dude?
All right.
Man, that might be the angle.
Adrian
Peterson, AP needs a bounce back.
Is this you trying to get to Jake Paul?
I've tried with Jake. He's scared. He won't fight me.
He's running.
He won't fight
Yeah,
you.
he won't fight me. That's fine.
All right. Everybody loves a good proposal at a ball game.
Oh, no.
Right? So I pulled one.
Yeah, typically these are the moments of your life you never forget. You know, you always remember. But there's sometimes when you have this many humans on the earth and this happens this many times a day where it does not go right. Let's play the proposal clip.
Everything's right. Everything's good.
You got the hand on the mouth.
Ring pop. He pulled out a ring pop.
He pulled out a ring pop and she slapped him.
You can't do that, man.
Like, first off, why? Why?
What are you doing?
Why? You just punched your ticket to the eternal doghouse.
First of all, that's assault. All right?
That's
it's
deserved.
2022.
That's deserved.
That's
Blaine.
assault. No, it's not.
Worse than that.
That's
was deserved.
assault. Don't hit me in public.
That was the most
Hit me when we
important
get home.
moment in that girl's life right there. And you pulled out a ring pop.
It was
You
strawberry.
pulled out
It's
a ring
strawberry.
pop.
It was strawberry.
Strawberry is good.
It is good.
Don't hit me in the
That,
face.
you
Yeah.
deserve to be slapped.
I'm just trying to figure out, like, look, if you're like a comedian or whatever, you're trying to like break your way into like some sort of
not it.
media. Like, I kind of get it, but like her family's gonna be pissed.
Oh, you're done.
She's gonna be
You're
pissed.
done.
You know, you're locked out. Let's just put it that way. It's a lockout. It's a strike. It's the Major League Baseball. You're gonna have to, somebody's gonna have to go take steroids to bring back the excitement or something.
Yeah, but why though? Like why?
But
why?
I don't get why you're doing
Like
that.
you're just
As somebody that's constantly in the doghouse, like
Are you?
I find myself walking in there just naturally. I don't need to force it.
Those two do not
Really?
need to be together. Those two do not.
Well, no,
Yeah.
he's already dumped.
Yeah.
But the
Not a
bad
big
part is the next girl, right? When he matures and he's got another girlfriend he wants to propose to, that's all that's going to be on her mind. When he gets down on one knee, he's like, well, is this a ring pop?
Do you think the next girl will find out?
Oh,
He's
for sure.
he's on Creighton
For sure.
Company,
With
bro.
social media.
She's in the
Right.
chat. She's
Right.
probably in the chat, Blaine.
She's definitely fine. Just real quick, Blaine, what do we got before we leave? That's
Let's go ahead and get this poll, and this poll got
Oh,
some people
Sorry.
upset.
There wasn't an over-under for me.
No, it's for me.
Yeah.
This poll got some people going a little bit.
Okay.
Poll?
All right.
What we have?
What is better, salsa or queso?
Oh.
That's a good one.
You know what,
That's a good
guys?
one.
Look, sometimes in life, you got to make a decision and stick with it, even
Yeah.
when it's a tough choice. Which one of my two kids do I like the most? Should I set this building on fire? Is my dad really my dad? Oh, sorry, different conversation.
That guy.
I would say queso.
You think queso?
Yeah,
Man,
I would
they
say
probably
queso.
did say queso, but I'm going to go with salsa. Just
I
because
think
if I picked
salsa.
one, I would go with salsa.
I just think salsa is the ceiling's high.
But I could see if it's queso, I understand them.
Okay, so we're gonna go queso.
I'm gonna say queso. Give me queso. I feel like this was tight.
Razor thin.
Give me queso. 52%.
I'm going salsa 51, razor thin margin.
Queso. 63.
I'm 2-0
They
the
like
last 2
queso.
days.
Yeah.
They like the queso.
Let's go.
Oh, actually, yesterday's. I'm glad that we brought this up. Yesterday's was void. Okay, because
What?
I did phone a friend. Okay, I talked to Darby Lou. I talked to the horse expert here on the Colts Broncos. Colts and Broncos aren't two different types of horses.
You remember when I
okay?
asked
Yeah,
that
we were
before?
talking about. We were hinting at this, but we didn't know because we weren't confident
Yeah,
enough in
I
our
asked that
knowledge.
before.
A Bronco breed of horse, right? A colt is a stage in the horse's life. So you could have a Bronco that is a colt because it's under 5 years old and it's not gelded yet.
Okay.
Look, you're learning stuff today.
You're like the.
I decide whether the polls are void.
What's her name?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So
What's her name? Diana Quinn, the medicine woman. Is that you?
Diana Quinn,
Is
wasn't
her
that
name?
the
Wasn't that her
spinoff
name?
from?
Was that her name though? What's the medicine
No.
woman's name?
Elizabeth.
No, it was something.
Dr. Quinn, the
Dr. Quinn, the medicine
woman.
Dr. Quinn. Dang, I haven't thought of Dr.
on
Quinn.
that
in
note,
years.
we appreciate you guys joining us. Make sure you subscribe, like, turn on that notification bell. Got a great Saturday special with Allison Williams tomorrow. Got our Sunday recap and NFL preview Sunday morning at 9 Eastern. That's 8 Central. Make sure you check us out. Tell everybody we're growing like a weed, but we're not living in them. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you check us out tomorrow. And like the chances, Cat Eye Scherzer not pitching good tonight, we're gone.